Tensions rising with North Korea after yet another missile test. This time that missile flying over Japan. President Trump becoming increasingly frustrated with the rogue regime, saying this: the U.S. has been talking to North Korea and paying them extortion money 25 years. Talking is not the answer! Exclamation point, end of quote. Let's bring in retired Navy SEAL David Sears to talk about this. David, the U.S. and its allies in the region have tried everything to rein in North Korea. We know that, but where do we go from here?
I think from here you have to look at, I don't agree completely with President Trump's that time for talking's over. We continue pursuing the diplomatic path as well. As Secretary Mattis said, diplomacy is never over. So we got to look at all elements of national power. You keep going down the road of both diplomatic, military enforcement of this.
But you know what, David, I was just looking at what's been tried in the past. Diplomatic inducements, security guarantees, economic and food aid failed. Pursued freezes. In other words, you freeze your nuclear program, we can come to some sort of agreement. North Korea consistently violated those agreements. And then we've pursued sanctions, but China has been very reluctant to fully get on board with those. To me, that's a lot of diplomacy that hasn't achieved a lot.
It is. You're absolutely right. Diplomacy itself has not worked alone. So we do need to look at the military aspects of it and say, what can we do? There's things that we can do. I believe that we can. I would put a lot of resources into shooting down the next missile that he launches. I wouldn't advertise that that's what we're going to do, but you should do that. Attacking him preemptively on his ground only galvanizes Kim's base and allows him to control the narrative. We look like the bad guys, but shooting down a missile makes him look incompetent and reassures our allies and partners in the region as well.
But based on his personality and character, that does run the risk, does it not, of him retaliating just to save face, if nothing else?
Well, that's why I think that we can win that narrative over with the international community. He's launching it over Japan. He's launching it out in the Pacific. So you're not striking North Korea actual territorial land. It allows us some wiggle room in there, but we can't continue on a track of appeasement. We do have to do something. I
mean, ultimately, David, I hate to say this, but, you know, if they go ahead and launch, I'm saying they being North Korea, it's a suicide move. Ultimately, it comes down to we act or you lose your regime. I mean, could it get to that stage where either you get in line or you're in big trouble?
It could get to that stage, but I think it's going to have to be a responsive strike. I don't think that we would initiate, and I think that we need to also let China know that this isn't just about the U.S. and Kim know it's not just U.S. and North Korea unilaterally. Japan could decide we are threatened. We're going to turn towards nuclear weapons, which is something I guarantee you China and Russia do not want.